All right, have you ever looked at an electric car, gotten really excited, and then saw the price tag and just backed away? Yeah, me too. But I've got good news. If that sounds like you, then you're going to want to stick around. We are about to break down a massive shift happening in the used EV market and why 2026 is shaping up to be the year to finally pull the trigger. Let's get right into it.
So what's with this number? Well, this isn't just some small discount we're talking about. This represents a huge change in the UK's used car market. I mean, it's a number that has basically turned everything on its head. But what does a 28% drop actually mean for you, for your wallet? It means exactly what it sounds like, a price crash. We're talking about a massive drop, up to 28% on some of the most popular electric cars you can buy. And look, this isn't some holiday sale. This is a fundamental market-wide correction. And the bottom line is, it's making EVs more affordable than they have ever been. Seriously.
Okay, so here's how we're going to tackle all of this. First up, we'll get into the why, the great EV price crash. Then we'll get practical with your 2026 buyer's guide. After that, we're going to uncover the EV's secret advantage, something you might not expect. We'll break down the real-world running costs, point out the buyer's red flags to help you avoid any duds, and then we'll wrap it all up and ask the big question. Is it finally time to make your move?
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the Great EV Price Crash. We need to understand the perfect storm that cooked up this amazing opportunity for buyers. So what on earth is causing this? Well, it's basically a perfect storm of three major things all hitting at once. First, you've got this fleet tsunami. Picture this, tens of thousands of electric cars, all coming off their 3-year company leases at the same time, just flooding the market. It's a massive wave of supply. Second, new car prices are being slashed because of some really fierce competition, and that naturally drags the value of used cars down with them. And finally, you know how fast tech moves? Well, EV tech is moving so fast that newer models are making the older ones look dated a lot quicker, which just speeds up their depreciation. It's those three things together that have created this incredible buyer's market. Now, what's really interesting here is that it looks like the free fall is starting to end. Just look at these numbers. Compare 2024 to the projections for 2026. For a typical mid-sized EV, that crazy 45% depreciation is settling down to a much more normal 33%. And for a Tesla, it's dropping from 35% to 28%. So, the value of these cars is now falling much slower. What this means for you is that you're not just buying a bargain, you're actually buying smarter. The car you grab in 2026 is likely to hold on to its value way better than one you might have bought a couple of years ago.
Okay, so we get why prices have plummeted. Now for the fun part. What can you actually get for your money? Let's dive into your 2026 buyer's guide and find the best deals out there.
All right, the absolute heart of this market, I mean, the place with a value is just unbelievable, is this sweet spot right here, between £5,000 and £10,000. This is the price range where owning an EV stops being some far-off dream and becomes a genuine reality for millions of people.
And the choices in this bracket, they're fantastic. You've got the Mark II Nissan Leaf, which is just a rock-solid, super reliable family car with a real-world range over 150 miles. Then there's the Peugeot E208. I mean, you sit inside that thing and it feels surprisingly fancy, like a car from a way higher price point. And the VW ID3? Yeah, okay, it had some software glitches when it first launched, but guess what? Those are all ironed out now. So you're basically getting a proper electric version of a Golf for a tiny fraction of what it costs new.
But if you can stretch your budget just a little bit more, the kind of value you can get becomes, well, frankly, it's just astonishing. Let's take a look at what happens when you open up your search to that £12,000 to £15,000 range.
And this is where things get really wild. A Tesla Model 3, a car that costs over 40 grand brand new, can now be yours for as little as £12,000. Think about that. For that price, you get all that amazing tech, the performance, and you get access to the best charging network in the business. That is just insane value. But it's not just Tesla. You've also got the Hyundai Kona Electric, a super sensible, reliable choice with a huge real-world range of over 250 miles. And if you need space, check out the MG5. It is literally the only electric estate car in this price bracket, making it the perfect, practical choice for families.
Okay, now for something that might surprise you. You'd think buying a used EV with all that high-tech wizardry would be a bit of a gamble, right? Well, what if I told you it can actually be a safer, more transparent purchase than a regular old petrol car? Yeah, seriously. And it all comes down to how they're built. Just take this number in for a second. 2,000.
That's roughly how many moving parts you'll find buzzing around inside a typical internal combustion engine. Pistons, valves, camshafts, a couple thousand little pieces all creating heat and friction and, well, thousands of opportunities for something to go wrong.
And now look at the electric motor. 20. Just 20. We've gone from 2,000 parts down to 20. I mean, that's a mind-boggling difference in complexity. It's not just an improvement, it's a complete revolution in simple, elegant engineering. And what does that mean for you? Fewer moving parts means dramatically fewer things that can wear out, fewer things that can break, and that means far fewer surprise wallet-busting repair bills down the road.
But here's the real game changer, the thing that gives you total peace of mind: state of health, or SOH. The easiest way to think about it is like a fitness tracker, but for the car's battery. With a petrol car, you're basically just guessing about the engine's health based on mileage and a few stamps in a service book. With an EV, you can plug in a simple diagnostic tool and get a clear, objective report that tells you exactly how healthy that battery is, as a percentage. It completely removes the guesswork and the anxiety from buying a used car.
Okay, let's move on to Section 4, Real-World Running Costs. So you've bought smart, you know the car is mechanically simple, but how much is it actually going to cost you to run day in, day out? Let's talk about the savings you'll see beyond just avoiding the petrol pump. And the numbers here are pretty stark. I mean, look at this. Driving a used EV for about 10,000 miles in a year will cost you, on average, around £1,450. And that includes everything: your energy, servicing, insurance. Now, that same journey in an equivalent petrol car, you're looking at more like £3,140. That's a saving of nearly £1,700 every single year. That really adds up.
But, and this is a huge but, there is a catch. Those massive savings, they really only happen if you can charge your car at home or maybe at work, ideally on a cheap overnight electricity tariff. If you can do that, your cost per mile is literally pennies. But if you have to rely only on public rapid chargers for all your juice, you could actually end up paying more per mile than you would for petrol. I can't stress this enough. Home charging is the absolute key to unlocking all those financial benefits of owning an EV.
Now look, no market is perfect, right? And to make a really smart purchase, you need to know what not to buy. So let's cover Section 5, the buyer's red flags. These are the specific cars and situations you need to be a little bit careful with.
Okay, here are 4 you really need to be aware of. First, any Renault Zoe that comes with a battery lease. This means you don't actually own the most expensive part of the car, and you have to pay a pretty hefty monthly fee just to use it. Second, be careful with early BMW i3s, especially the ones with that little petrol range extender engine. They can face some really expensive repairs. The same goes for early, out-of-warranty Tesla Model S and Model X vehicles. Great cars, but repairs can be eye-watering. And finally, the Jaguar I-Pace. It's a beautiful car, but it's just appreciated very, very heavily, and the early models did have some reliability questions. And that brings us to our final section, the big one, your move. Is it time? We've looked at the price crash, the best buys, the secret advantages, the running costs, and the red flags. So let's pull it all together and give you the final verdict.
This quote from our source material really just nails it. It says, 2026 represents the best year yet to buy a used EV. Prices are low, supply is plentiful, and charging infrastructure has matured. Think about that. You've got low prices, a ton of cars to choose from, and a charging network that's finally reliable and widespread. It is the perfect combination of factors, a really unique window of opportunity for anyone who's been thinking about making the switch. Honestly, the timing has never been better.
So we're going to leave you with this final thought. For the longest time, the #1 reason people gave for not buying an electric car was the price. Well, that reason, it's gone. That barrier has been completely shattered. The technology is proven, it's solid, and buying one used is easier and safer than it has ever been. So with prices at an all-time low and all these amazing cars to choose from, the only real question left is, what's holding you back? Thanks so much for joining us for this explainer.